Hello and welcome everyone to another edition of Coach's Corner. Sitting down with the head football coach at the University at Albany, Greg Cattuso. Coach, thanks for a couple minutes.
Sure.
Obviously tough loss this past Saturday, not the result you wanted against a tough Maine team. How do you draw the positives? I would say what are your takeaways from the game? But how do you draw the positives after losing like that in back-to-back weeks and continue to move forward?
Well, there's not a lot of positives in it right now. We're not playing very well. We're beat up, and we've got a lot of issues with youth and inexperience, and which limits what you can do. So it's a tough situation. But I talked to the coaching staff. We're going to be positive. We're going to coach our guys through it, and we're going to make them better. And some of what can help solve a lot of our problems is experience and getting some injured guys back, but we don't have that. You can't do that quickly. So we've got a game this week that I believe if we can come out and play a really good first half, we can win the game. So our confidence needs to come back. I think that's our biggest problem right now. Is it's been a pretty big drop in our confidence, and so we need to get that back. And we're going to work hard. We had a good week of practice last week. I think another good week of practice and a good off week will help us get back on track.
I think two of the storylines this season so far is what you just said, the inexperience and the injuries. You guys have 28 freshmen and sophomores on your two deep. That's almost unheard of. You got 7 seniors that are on your two deep combined. Is it tough for the guys not to sort of get caught up in that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I tell them every week that the inexperience and the rookie stuff is over, and they're not out there. The problem with our youth is, one is inexperience, a lot of times just playing the position they're playing, and two is the physical toll. You can see it in our running backs, you can see it in our receivers that are young. They're just not used to this workload. Usually a freshman that plays is getting 10, 12 snaps a game, not 50, 60, 70 snaps in a game. And that's where we're at right now. Elliot Krosky's struggling. We're going to rotate our backs more this week and try to get something going. But right now, it's the only way out of holes is to fight your way out, and we're going to have to do that. And I think that, every week we feel like we have a good plan. We just have to get better at executing it.
In the last couple of weeks, you guys have gotten down early in the game and had slow starts, and of course that changes the dynamic of the game inherently. How do you try to remedy that moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know the solution to that one. That's something that I think being better at our individual at our positions and being a little more aggressive, I think, in some areas might help us. We definitely need to be more aggressive as coaches with our offense and defense. I think that we've got to try to generate a big play on one side of the ball, and I think that that's going to be up to us to do. But like I said, we have the enthusiasm. The kids are trying. I think most importantly, we're starting to practice like a good football team, and I think when you start to practice well, it takes multiple practices to get better, and I think that we had 3 good ones last week, and I know we're going to practice really well this week, and I think that we can get ourselves back on track a little bit.
I thought one of the bright spots from Saturday's game was Z Roberson on one particular drive with DJ Crook, and that chemistry seems to be coming along. What do you think about that moving forward, your overall offense and trying to establish the run? And I know it's easier said than done, but how do you try to get them going in general?
Well, I think they all feed off each other. I've never been a big fan of doing one or the other more. We like to be as balanced as we can.
Yep.
I think we've taken a hit in our passing game, and I think Z Roberson's starting to step up and fill that void. Brad's now getting the double coverage and stuff like that, and Z's starting to hurt some people. And I think Jordan Crockett made a couple really good plays Saturday, and I think as our receiving corps regenerates, I think we're going to be fine. And we're going to get better. And I think ultimately the quarterback's just decision making process. That game, if we don't turn the ball over, it's probably 10-7 at half.
Yep.
We give up 2 easy. We give up 10 points off of easy turnovers. It just should have never ever happened. And it's just I think DJ tried too hard and tried to make a couple throws that weren't there. And ultimately decision making at that position is critical, and he knows it, and he's going to get better at it.
I know I've asked you this in one time in recent weeks. You said before the season that you didn't know you were going to be decimated with injuries the way you are without Nick Ketter and Marcel Nagachi and Michael Nicastro and a host of others. You said we're going to have to be patient. And do you have to remind yourself about that, once in a while these past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I do, and I spend too much time thinking and worrying. But I told the staff, you know what, when I took this job, I knew I loved the tradition, I loved the commitment, but ultimately the move we made is a dramatic move. And I think that the hardest part is people think I don't want to make excuses, and I'm not. And I think it's important that, 5 years from now, if I'm making excuses, then that's one thing. But this building process in this league is very difficult. And the CAA is the SEC of
Yes.
the 1AA football. It is a difficult deal, and you need multiple recruiting classes. We feel like we have one CAA, really one full class in place right now with last year's class. The first year, we got here, we really couldn't do much before Christmas. We put it together, which was a pretty solid group after the New Year's. But we're establishing a recruiting base in 6, 7, 8 states. We have great interest. We already have kids committed to us this year, which is unheard of at this point in the year at Albany. So I think that we're making a lot of progress. The hard part is, I do think patience is important, and the team needs to understand I'm patient and that I'm here for the long haul, which I am. But we also want to make sure our seniors go out with some positive. So I'm not going to sit here and tell people. And I told the team it's not okay that we lose, and we're going to go out there and start playing, because we owe our seniors and our upperclassmen and our alumni and fans our effort. And I think that's where we've got to get better at, continue to fight through the whole 4 quarters.
Your next opportunity to do that is this Saturday at home against a Villanova team that's terrific, that have a senior-laden group, and certainly the opposite of the case here. How do you try to prepare for that team?
Well, they lost their star quarterback, and they're still good. I mean, they still have good players, but losing to John Roberson, who's the player of the year in the country last year, is devastating. And it's when you lose one player off your team that's a star, it's devastating. When you lose 3 or 4, is catastrophic, and that's where we're at, and that's what they're going through some pains right now, because they have a redshirt freshman quarterback who's a talented young kid, but his decisions at times aren't perfect, but he's getting better every week. So, we have a challenge, but it's a challenge. If we do our jobs, we can come out and play. We need to play a great first half, and then I think we have a great shot to win the game. We just got to come out and get our confidence back.
Thanks for giving us a couple minutes. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for this week's edition of Coach's Corner. As always, Coach and I will talk next week, recap the Villanova game, and look ahead to the rest of the CAA schedule. For Greg Gattuso, I'm Zach Bye. We'll see you next time.